How y'all doing? Today I'll be reading 2nd Esdras chapters 9 and 10. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest the signs past, which I have told you thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land, and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits, and have not known me, and they that have lost my law, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was opened unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. Then answered I and said, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. Like as a wave is greater than a drop. And he answered me, saying, Like as the field is, so is also the seed. As the flowers be, such the colors also. Such as a workman is, such also is a work, and as a husbandman is himself, so is the husbandry also. For it was the time of the world. And now, when I prepare the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live, no man spake against me. For then everyone obeyed. But now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, and by a law which is unsearchable, rid themselves. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, and a plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. Nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 more days, but thou shalt not fast in them, but go into a field of flowers wherein no house is builded, and eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only, and pray unto the highest continually. Then will I come and talk with thee. So I went my way into the field, which is called Ardath, like as he commanded me. And there I sat among the flowers, and did eat of the herbs, and of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied me. After 7 days I sat upon the grass, and my heart was vexed within me, like as before. And I opened my mouth and began to talk before the Most High, and said, O Yahweh, thou that shewest thyself unto us, thou wast shewed unto our fathers in the wilderness, in a place where no man treadeth, in a barren place when they come out of Egypt. And thou spakest, saying, Hear me, O Israel, and mark my words, thou seed of Jacob. For behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, and ye shall be honored in it forever. But our fathers, which received thy law, kept it not, and observed not thy ordinances. And thou, the fruit of thy law, did not perish, neither could it, for it was thine. Yet they that received it perished, because they kept not the thing that was sown in them. And lo, it is a custom when the ground hath received seed, or the sea a ship, or any vessel meat or drink, that being perished wherein it was sown or cast into, that thing also which was sown or cast therein or received doth perish, and remaineth not with us. But with us it hath not happened so. For we that have received the law perish by sin, and our heart also which received it. Notwithstanding the law perisheth not, but remaineth in his force. And when I spake these things in my heart, I looked back with mine eyes, and upon the right side I saw a woman, and behold, she mourned and wept with a loud voice, and was much grieved in heart, and her clothes were rent, and she had ashes upon her head. Then let I my thoughts go that I was in, and turned me unto her, and said unto her, Wherefore weepest thou? Why art thou so grieved in thy mind? And she said unto me, Sir, let me alone, that I may bewail myself, and add unto my sorrow. For I am sore vexed in mind. For I am sore vexed in my mind, and brought very low. And I said unto her, What aileth thee? Tell me. She said unto me, I thy servant have been barren, and had no child, though I had a husband 30 years. And those 30 years I did nothing else day and night, and every hour, but make my prayer to the highest. After 30 years, Alua heard me thy handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son. And I was very glad of him. So my husband also, and all my neighbors, and we gave great honor to the Almighty. And I nourished him with great travail. So when he grew up and came to the time that he should have a wife, I made a feast. That was 2nd Esdras chapter 9. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 10. Again, I apologize for me stumbling over words. I'm having a hard time reading King James, but I'm trying. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 10. And it so came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. Then we all overthrew the lights, and all my neighbors rose up to comfort me. So I took my rest until the second day at night. And it came to pass, when they had all left off to comfort me, to the end I might be quiet. Then rose I up by night, and fled, and came hither into this field, as thou seest. And I do now purpose not to return to the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn, and to fast until I die. Then left I the meditations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, Thou foolish woman, above all others seest thou not our mourning, and what happeneth unto us? How that Sion our mother is full of all heaviness, and much humbled mourning, very sore. And now seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are in heaviness, art thou grieved for one son? For ask the earth, and she shall tell thee, that it is she which ought to mourn for the fall of many that grow upon her. For out of her came all that the first, and out of her shall all others come. And behold, they walk almost into destruction, and the multitude of them is utterly rooted out. Who then shall make more mourning than she, that hath lost so great a multitude? And not thou which art sorry, but for one. But if thou sayest unto me, My lamentation is not like the earth's, because I have lost the fruit of my womb, which I brought forth with pains and bare with sorrows. But the earth is not so, for the multitude present in it according to the course of the earth is gone, as it came. Then say I unto thee, like as thou hast brought forth with labor, even so the earth also hath given her fruit, namely man, ever since the beginning unto him that hath made her. Now therefore keep thy sorrow to thyself, and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of Elua to be just, thou shalt both receive thy son in time, and shalt be commended among women. Go thy way into thy city to thine husband. And she said unto me, That will I not do. I will not go into the city, but here I will die. So I proceeded to speak further unto her, and said, Do not so. Be counseled by me. For how many are the adversaries of Sion? Be comforted in regard of the sorrow of Jerusalem. For thou seest that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed. Our psaltery is laid on the ground, our song is put to silence, our rejoicing is at an end. The light of our candlestick is put out, the ark of our covenant is spoiled. Our holy things are defiled, and the name that is called upon us is almost profane. Our children are put to shame, our priests are burnt, our Levites are gone into captivity, our virgins are defiled, and our wives ravished. Our righteous men carried away, our little ones are destroyed, our young men are brought into bondage, and our strong men are becoming weak. And which is the greatest of all? The seal of Sion hath now lost her honor, for she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. And therefore shake off thy great heaviness, and put away the multitude of sorrows, that the mighty may be merciful unto thee again. And the highest shall give thee rest and ease from thy labor. And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon a sudden shined exceedingly, and her countenance glistered, so that I was afraid of her, and mused what it might be. And behold, suddenly she made a great cry, very fearful, so that the earth shook at the noise of the woman. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more, but there was a city builded in a large place, shewed itself from the foundations. Then was I afraid, and cried with a loud voice, and said, Where is Uriel, the angel who came unto me at the first? For he had caused me to fall into many trances, and mine end is turned into corruption, and my prayer to rebuke. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came unto me and looked upon me. And lo, I lay as one that had been dead, and mine understanding was taken from me. And he took me by the right hand and comforted me, and set me upon my feet, and said unto me, What aileth thee? And why art thou so disquieted? And why is thine understanding troubled, and the thoughts of thine heart? And I said, Because thou hast forsaken me, and yet I did according to thy words. And I went into the field, and lo, I have seen, and yet see that I am not able to express. And he said upon me, Stand up manfully, and I will advise thee. Then said I, Speak on, my Lord, and me. Only forsake me, lest I die frustrate of my hope. For I have seen that I knew not, and hear that I do not know. Or is my sense deceived, or my soul in a dream? Now therefore I beseech thee, that thou wilt shew thee thy servant of this vision. He answered me then, and said, Hear me, and I shall inform thee, and tell thee wherefore thou art afraid. For the highest will reveal many secret things unto thee. He has seen thy way is right, for that thou sorrowest continually for thy people, and makest great lamentation for Sion. This therefore is the meaning of the vision which thou lately sawest. Thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beganest to comfort her. But now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more, but there appeared unto thee a city builded. And whereas she told thee of the death of her son, this is the solution. The woman whom thou sawest is Sion, and whereas she said unto thee, even she whom thou seest as a city builded, whereas I say, she said unto thee that she had been 30 years barren. Those are the 30 years wherein there was no offering made in her. But after 30 years Solomon builded the city, and offered offerings, and then bare the barren a son. And whereas she told thee that she nourished him with labor, that was a dwelling in Jerusalem. But whereas she said unto thee that my son coming into his marriage chamber happened to have a fall and died, this was the destruction that came to Jerusalem. And behold, thou sawest her likeness, and because she mourned for her son, thou beganest to comfort her. And of these things which have chanced, these are to be open unto thee. For now the Most High seeth that thou art grieved unfeignedly, and sufferest from thy whole heart for her. So hath he shewed the brightness of her glory, and the comeliness of her beauty. And therefore I bade thee remain in the field where no house was builded, for I knew that the highest would shew this unto thee. Therefore I commanded thee to go into the field where no foundation of any building was. For in the place wherein the highest beginneth to shew his city, there can no man's building be able to stand. And therefore fear not, let not thine heart be affrighted, but go thy way in, and see the beauty and greatness of thy building, as much as thine eyes be able to see. And then shalt thou hear as much as thine ears may comprehend. For thou art blessed above many other, and art called with the highest, and so are but few. But tomorrow at night thou shalt remain here. And so shall the highest shew these visions of the high things, which the Most High will do unto them that dwell upon earth in the last days. So I slept that night, and another like as he commanded me. That was 2nd Esdras chapters 9 and 10. That was 2nd Esdras chapters 9 and 10. Again, I apologize if I stumbled over some words. I'm trying my best to read this King James version, but all I've been reading my whole life was a New International Version, which is basic. All right, so thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have a blessed day. May the Most High grant you peace, blessings, protection, serenity, and may He calm your fears, and may He remove all your fears, and may He instill His confidence, His boldness, His compassion, His protection, His armor, His light, and His mercy upon your life and the lives of those whom you love and whom you cherish. May the Most High bless you and keep you. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakathon. And as always, double shalom.